All right, Mark. We're getting ready to get into the driver's seat. You know what that means. You know what that means once we get in the driver's seat around this time.
I think that means we'll be on the road to WrestleMania.
Yes, sir. Welcome to episode 6 of MTPW. And this is going to be the second biggest one yet after our first one. Because it's our first prediction show as we head into the Royal Rumble.
I definitely thought you were going to say War Games.
But nope. If I'm being honest, a pretty lackluster week heading into the Royal Rumble to kickstart the road to WrestleMania. But yeah, I don't know. It just seems this week in WWE as a whole kind of left a bad taste in my mouth.
Why is that?
They didn't do anything really other than certain parts here and there, like maybe other than the Alexa stuff. Like nothing's
Do you,
really. I mean, the Owens, and as we get on later. The Owens Reigns stuff was good, but it just seemed like that going to this Royal Rumble, it's not the hypest. I'm not as hyped for it as I was last week.
I see. So you don't feel the magic for the Rumble is what you're saying. You don't feel like it's a magical time just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm looking forward to the Rumble match itself, but there's just too many stuff that I know that's probably going to end badly. But we can talk about that later on because I think this may be a familiar, or this going to be a you see it a mile coming finish or victories for the Royal Rumble itself or in general. My bad.
What in the WWE? No way.
But as we bash the WWE in this episode, we're first going to give you the results of what happened on the three main shows this week before we give you our predictions for this. Well, I guess tonight's Royal Rumble.
Plus, we got a Moxley update.
We with Raw, we got to kick off with a Drew McIntyre promo. Um, I'm just gonna say like I don't like it how he's coming out with a kilt and sword now. I know he's been doing it for a while, but it just seems kind of stupid. But he comes out, delivers a promo, and this is his first time in the Thunderdome, right? Or was that
Mm,
last week?
this is his first time in the Thunderdome, I think, since having COVID.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Um, but yeah, he came out, delivered a promo, hyping up this match with Goldberg. Then Miz and Morrison came.
Goldberg.
Then Miz and Morrison came out. Um, they started jaw jacking, and then yeah, then Mark, then Goldberg came out,
Goldberg.
and Goldberg and Drew they were kind of getting into it while Miz and Morrison was on the outside, kind of trying to they're trying to
Instigate.
instigate. They're trying to start some stuff, but then you just saw Goldberg spearing Miz and Drew Claymore and kicking Morrison. I think could be reverse. I don't know. Just you know, see like that stuff right there is not making me look forward to the Royal Rumble because this whole thing. I mean, I understand with Drew dealing with COVID, but it's just this whole thing is just stupid.
But it's all about respect, fella. And in this moment, it's the fact that Miz and Morrison don't respect Goldberg or McIntyre. And so they can be friends for a hot second.
Uh, then we got to see a
Match of the year candidate.
well, we got to see. Well, let's see. I got my notes now. Got to see a Charlotte promo talking about
Gosh.
talking about how Ric Flair is going through the darkest days of his life right now, dealing with that untrusty Jezebel, Lacey Evans. But then we got to see another point. This is stupid. This match seemed like it was kind of the theme for WWE
No,
for this
there's no
week.
way this match was stupid. This is match of the year. This is the best segment that I've ever seen WWE produce in all of my years of watching professional wrestling. Like, I finished this segment and I just turned off the show because I was like, my life is complete. This is the best thing that I've ever seen as a wrestling fan, and there's nothing that will ever top what I just witnessed.
Well,
Said nobody ever. Nobody in their right mind would ever have said that after watching that flaming hot pile of garbage.
all right. So what originally started out as a Charlotte Flair versus Shayna Baszler match, ended up with now I'm going to get kind of confused. Yeah, Nia Jax. They're wrestling. Then Nia Jax interfered and caused the DQ for Charlotte to win. And those two, because they're going to be facing against each other, they're going to face against Charlotte and her tag team partner Asuka for the women's tag team championship. They were being down with Charlotte, and you know who came to the rescue of Charlotte?
Her
Not
Horlet dad,
no, that was later.
because he cares about his daughter.
No, what? No, well, it wasn't Asuka. It was Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose.
Oh, that's exactly who I was gonna
Yeah.
pick.
Um.
That makes sense.
Then Lacey Evans came out, and that's when they decided to have a six-woman match. Um. And then, like, as that was going on, Flair and Baszler they wrestled out for the outside, and I can't. This is just so stupid because I don't know. Like one of them Baszler gets counted out or Jax. I'm not sure. They
It was
get
Baszler.
yeah.
Baszler gets counted out.
Baszler gets counted out, and Flair, Rose, and Dana Brooke are declared the winners, but the heels are complaining about it, which for no reason. And then Adam Pearce comes out.
And half this stuff happens during commercial. So the match ends, and then we cut to break, and you just think, well, that was a really weird ending, but
As long as we get it
Charlotte and Mandy,
off the air.
yeah, they win, and so you're like, okay, well, I'm at least done with this flaming hot pile of garbage. Except you come back from commercial, and you're not.
Nia Jax. I thought this was a new move. Then Mark told me, as we were talking yesterday, this is. I guess was a botch. But if it's a new
It
move,
definitely
if
looked like a
if it's
botch.
a new move, it looked cool. But if it's a botch, that's not cool. Especially with Nia Jax having a history of injuring wrestlers. But she did that to Dana Brooke, and Baszler, Jackson, Evans won. Which after pretty much like after the first disqualification, like in the singles match when they started adding more and more people, I just didn't care because my thoughts is, where's Asuka and where's Peyton Royce, Lacey's tag team? I don't know. It's just I'm all for having stuff like this, but like, what's the point of having a women's tag team championship when it's just not even even brought up half the time? Like you may hate how they're doing with the tag team championships on both Raw and SmackDown, but at least they're like pretty much on TV. While the women's tag team championship, other than like when Bailey and Sasha had it, like they appear on both shows, but it hasn't been anything like this. This whole them making the belts has been pointless, and I just don't. I just think it's just stupid.
I don't disagree. You're not gonna hear anything different out of my mouth.
Oh, then that's probably yeah, because like restart the match. I'm just reading my notes. Restart the match. Why? Oh, and then during that, Charlotte and Lacey Evans ran off. Yeah, so that's how Nia Jax won. All right. Up next, we got to see a Retribution promo. Um,
Cool. So great.
yeah, and
Loving this first hour of Raw.
and then we get to see Slapjack, Retribution versus Xavier Woods, and the match was sponsored by the superior chicken sandwich makers, Popeyes. Um,
How dare you?
It's true.
How dare you say that?
It's true. This was another match I didn't care about because
It's dang true.
it's another match I didn't care about. It's pretty much the same thing like last week. Retribution tried to interfere with the match, but then Xavier took down uh took down Slapjack. Woods won, but then Retribution attacked him, and then that's when Mufasa Ali announced
Mustafa
Mustafa Ali is announced that's when he's going to be entering the Royal Rumble.
taking Kofi Kingston's spot.
Yeah. Then up next, we got to see a backstage promo with.
Wait, do you not want to hear my thoughts about the Retribution segment?
Oh yeah,
They're
sure.
my they're my favorite thing in WWE. I can't believe you don't want to hear my thoughts on that.
What's your thoughts on it, Mark? Sorry, I thought as you wear your Retribution T-shirt.
That's my thoughts. Complete silence. Again, flaming hot pile of garbage. The first hour of Raw was is it's just one of those moments where you think to yourself, you're like, I can't get this hour of my life back. I just wasted an hour of my life watching this television, and it wasn't very good. That's how I felt about the first hour of Raw.
You know what's up next?
The bro.
Bro. Matt Riddle and Bro Truth. R Truth. They came out and pretty much Bro Truth thinks that the VIP lounge what the Hurt Business is going to have, he thinks it's a surprise late birthday party for him because it's
Because
THB.
he's an idiot.
Bro.
Gosh. That man, and this is the
Hey,
moment, was it, because,
he's just trying to live out, he's just trying to make his childhood star John Cena happy.
was it, yeah, so later in the night, obviously this was the week that R-Truth wrestled AJ Styles, and there was this moment where in the midst of watching that match that I was reminded that you have two former NWA World's Heavyweight Champions wrestling this match. And there's one man whose career holds to the caliber of being a world's champion literally across the world. And then the other one has been reduced to being a comedic wrestler who's trying to enter the Money in the Bank ladder match this Sunday. Like, it's kind of sad that R-Truth, for his whole WWE run, has just turned into a guy that just yells "What's up" and has an invisible friend named Jimmy.
Do what the he would do. What the. And I don't mind. I
People,
don't mind on
people
trying
over,
Archer.
people over there. What's up?
He don't
People
what the
over.
they would do. What the.
So freaking stupid. But yeah, like that man.
What dude? He's like
Yeah,
old. I mean, he's like
it
Kate.
doesn't.
I mean, he's just. I don't know.
He's,
I
but he's
like.
also an NWA World's Champion, and
Yeah, but it's not like TNA even did anything good with him though. Um, I like our truth. I just don't know why he's like a John Cena. like, I don't know why John Cena is his childhood idol, but
well, you can, I just I don't know. I can't even. I don't know.
all right. Up next, we got to see the VIP lounge hosted by MVP, and we got to see the Hurt Business. But they came out, they looked awesome. They gave MVP a THB, the Hurt Business, uh, gold chain that looks similar to his MVP chain. Um, and then Bro Truth came out and he was saying, "Guys, thanks for the happy birthday and everything like that." And then Bobby Lashley was getting ready to attack him, and then the 24/7 people came out. Bro Truth almost lost the 24/7 title to I think Tucker. I'm not really sure. And then Bro Riddle came out and kneed MVP in the face, and we went to commercial.
Well, and isn't this where we have to mention that Is this the night? No, that was last week. Never mind. I had the gauntlet match on my head still.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
No, that's night.
Stupid. Is it tonight?
Yeah, that's that night. Yeah.
So Ro is gonna be in a gauntlet match where if he beats MVP Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, he will get a shot at the U.S. champion Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
Ro.
And then we get to see a pretty good match that ends pointless to start another match. We could see Sheamus versus John Morrison. It was a good match. Sheamus won. And then right afterwards, Miz challenges Sheamus to a 2-on-1 handicap match, and he accepts. And Sheamus was again ready to win. Getting ready to break kick. I don't know. I think Morrison, but the Miz came in and crushed finale Sheamus to win. Um, I mean, I guess they're trying to build Sheamus for the Royal Rumble, but it's just I don't know. It just seemed weird.
Yeah, as I was watching that match, I couldn't help but to ask this question: What is Keith Lee just is he dead?
I
Like
guess.
Keith Lee has disappeared for like 2 weeks. We haven't heard anything. We haven't seen anything. And so it's like I just don't know. It's like, are we trying to make Keith Lee like a surprise entrant into the Rumble? Because if that's the case, there's not anything to be surprised about. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't get what's happened with Keith Lee where he's disappeared too. Uh, um, but yeah, I mean, like I think Sheamus looks like one of the few wrestlers from Raw that could have a legitimate chance to, in fact, win the Rumble tomorrow or today by the time this hits the internet.
Yep. Up next, we can see the classic WWE promo of, you know, someone teaching a wrestler of the opposite gender some wrestling moves that looks sexual. uh,
That's not PG.
well, it's true. We got to see Ric Flair teaching Lacey Evans some holds. Um, and then Charlotte came out. This is all backstage, of course. Charlotte came out. They talked for a little bit between her and Rick. I thought this was a pretty good promo between the two. Then Lacey Evans came out, attacked Charlotte from behind, and that was pretty much it. Rick tried to help Charlotte up, but Lacey said, "Nah, don't do that." Did you like it?
No,
Um,
I didn't. I'm again. I'm so sick and tired of the Lacey Evans, Ric Flair story. I'm so over it.
yeah. Forgot to mention this, but earlier in the night we got to see a promo between Road Truth, Adam Pearce, AJ Styles, and Almost. Um, seems like for the past couple of weeks heading into the Royal Rumble, wrestlers who want to enter the Royal Rumble has to wrestle AJ Styles, and that's what R-Truth is going to do as we go into that match. Road Truth versus AJ Styles. Um, it was pretty much a nothing match. AJ made R-Truth tap out to the calf crusher. Is it crusher or killer?
Um, yeah, I think it's Calf Crusher.
Okay.
I believe it was the Calf Killer in
Yeah, they
New
probably.
Japan or whatever, and so they have to.
That's not PG. Um, yeah. Then we got to see a Alexa Bliss promo talking about like what's been going on for the past couple of weeks, playground and hyping up forgot to mention this, but her and Asuka is going to be wrestling for the Raw's Women's Championship in the main event. That's hyping that up. Good, good, good segment, right?
Yeah, Alexa Bliss has been one of the few shining moments that has really kept my attention with Raw at all. Um, she has been on on a different level. It feels like compared to most of the other Raw roster. Um, I'm really intrigued to see how everything will continue to unfold. You know, will we see the return of the Fiend? Why does Randy Orton always get the best of Bray Wyatt? Will Alexa just fully turn into the Fiend? There's just a lot of questions, and I'm excited to see how this one plays out moving forward.
All right. Up next, we got to see Bro
What a
Riddle
freaking joke!
versus the Hurt Business. I usually don't like these types of gauntlet matches where one person goes against two or more people, or yeah, two or more people in back-to-back matches, pretty much. Um, I don't know, just because I like Riddle, but I don't mind how they did this because it seemed like the only person that he legitimately beat was Sheldon. Because MVP, I don't know. At this point, it's weird because he's like a wrestler, but he's like a manager now. But like to me, like he proves no threat as a wrestler. It seems like right now in WWE. But and also I liked it how he didn't tap any of those guys out. It was always roll ups or schoolboys or stuff like that. So it's kind of like in off of distractions. But Riddle runs the gauntlet. He beats Shelton Benjamin first, takes out an MVP in a matter of seconds because he's distracted of what's going on between Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. And then then Cedric and Riddle have a pretty good match that ends with Riddle rolling up Cedric for the 3, and that means he can challenge Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. And I don't know if that means it's going to be on the line for tonight, but then we got to see Lashley come out and just destroy Riddle because that's WWE. You can't have one guy, heading to the. Can't have one guy looking good. You always have to do the 50-50 stuff. But Mark, did you not like it?
I mean, it plays into the Hurt Business is kind of dealing with these weird issues because Cedric is like wanting to do his own thing, and MVP and Shelton are like, Cedric, you're costing us. I hope that Bobby Lashley just puts a beat down on Matt Riddle. Um, I just I don't know. I don't like the way because like Matt Riddle's he's such a tough dude, but like he's like this. He has the personality that is like a combination of the turtle from Finding Nemo and just like a surfer. Like
But bro, he's an MMA guy. He's like a better version of Rob. He's like a more physical version of Rob Van Dam, bro. We need that tag team, bro. And also,
no,
don't say Matt Riddle. It's Riddle, bro.
dude, that tag team would be so high that they would be so unsafe in the ring. It's not even a
No,
freaking
bro.
joke.
They'll be safer than the Young Bucks.
No, don't you eat golly. I'm surprised Matt Riddle can even pass a freaking wellness exam. Jim and knee, he's freaking high in a kite when he's on TV.
But
But
yeah,
for the sake of that story, I didn't mind it. Because I do think that Riddle and Lashley will make for a good matchup.
yeah,
Um, and it, he runs through the Hurt Business without actually like having to run through the Hurt Business, if that makes sense. So
yeah. Up next, we got to see I'm guessing it's a pre-taped promo by Edge, but still pretty good. He announced that he's going to be entering into the Royal Rumble. he also mentioned where that this is the 10th anniversary of him like being forced to retire, and when he said that, I was like, wow, it's been 10 years since that's happened. um, uh, I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, it's always. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Edge again. You know, seeing what he's able to do because you know he only had two matches with Randy, and he got hurt in the greatest match of all time. So, you know, hopefully he's hopefully he's able to do some stuff with other people.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm excited. You can tell that there's a difference between the old school and just like new school wrestlers. Like, there's just, I don't know, there's just a way that Edge can make connections and
Realness.
tell a story within his promo that just I feel like for most people within the current roster of professional wrestling today, it's just missed. Um, so that was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
Um,
because
I
like he was speaking honest. Like he wasn't handed a script. He probably just got like bullet points or something like that. But sorry, go ahead.
I mean that was it. I mean I'm excited. Obviously, I have some different directions that I would like to see the Rumble winner go. I don't know if I necessarily want Edge personally to win the Rumble. And we'll get more into that when we get to predictions. I would like to see Edge have a good run in the Rumble, but I don't know if that's going to be possible.
Yeah, I don't want him to win the Rumble, but I want him to have like a year or so run where he's able to compete against other guys. You know, maybe a title run here and there. You know, like a 3 month title run would be cool, but nothing like what they did with Brock Lesnar. And I don't think they'll do that. I don't think Edge is that type of guy. Um,
I don't think that he is either.
then in the main event for the Raw's Women's Championship, got to see Asuka versus Alexa Bliss. Asuka came out like I liked it how like she wasn't doing none of that no nonsense, scared at first. I liked it how she brought it, right from the start, and then Alexa was kind of doing the stuff that she did last week, just kind of smiling it, like smiling through it and everything like that. Um, and then we got to see like this is like pretty much like they're starting to do some crazy stuff with this whole thing, cause now correct me if I'm wrong, like during the match Alexa goes back, or like, see, this is like where I'm kind of confused because she, she's like, is she tainted by the fiend? You get what I'm saying?
I mean, there's a good question because
Like she
she has a
reverts.
moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
She has a moment where I mean, she has a moment where, like the lights and everything start to go out in the arena, and as they come back on, um, we see Bliss,
Like she
um,
she reverts back to her
in
like
her
pre
in
like.
like the goddess, like
Mhm.
when she was like the goddess of WWE. So we see um, that that version of Alexa, and then when like after a moment, we see another version of Alexa, and it's almost like her blacked out, like completely overcome by the fiend that like it's nearly impossible to do anything to her. She's not going to be taken down. Um, Anything you throw at her in the ring, she's not going to be affected by. And um, I thought that she was going to be able to pull off the win and be the Raw Women's Champion going into the Rumble this Sunday.
Yeah. But then came out to what made this Raw worth it as Alexa. Well, before that, what I was saying is like when she went back to the goddess, like, do you think that was like her? Because like in horror movies, like when possessed people, like they go back to their selves and like they're like trying to like like I don't know if that was like her trying to trick Asuka, or was that like really hurt. You get what I'm trying to say? Because like it's like when she revert back to the gods, she was like crying or like she was like kind of like, where am I? Kind
She
of.
was
And I was,
scared.
yes, that's
She seemed scared.
yes, and that's what I'm
And
saying. Like, do you think that was really like I'm just saying this because for me it'll be easier. Like, do you think that was really Alexa, or do you think that was like a trick by like the fiend Alexa?
I I mean I think that very well could have been her. Um it seems as if that it was like actual Alexa Bliss, not having anything to do with the fiend. Um so but yeah, it's hard to tell, but I would venture to say that that is the Alexa that we would have if she wasn't under, I don't want to say the spell of the fiend. She's not even really under the control of the fiend, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
she had her spirit altered by the fiend. But then
right.
you know, then we got to see what made Raw worth it. We got to see Randy Orton maskless with just a big old red face, and he RKO's Alexa Bliss right before she's about to win the women's championship, and that's where Raw ends.
Which I did have to tell you, and I'm still kind of shocked. Like, there wasn't, at that point, there wasn't like there wasn't a bell, there wasn't an announcement that the match was ending in
Yeah,
DQ. Raw just went off the air. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, so technically the Raw Women's Championship match is still going on because we never got a finish to it.
yeah. Well, I guess if I don't know, it was technically since it was DQ, and since Randy RKO'd Alexa, it's like automatic. But
Well, you
stop
would
trying to
think, but
speak,
they
trying
didn't.
to trying to stop trying to speak logical. WWE.
Well, I'm just saying there was not like there wasn't. I mean, I don't know. Like they didn't ring the bell, so how am I supposed to know that the match is over?
I don't know. You wanna you wanna start? You wanna go on to NXT?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and hit NXT.
Um,
Um,
I'm gonna be honest. Uh, other than like one or two matches, dude, I don't I didn't care about this episode. This was like out of the three, this is like the least enjoyable for me.
that's fair. I would say that's definitely fair.
Uh, just to kick off the show, we got to see the quarterfinals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. Got to see MSK versus Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. Um, this is like only my second time, or I guess third time seeing MSK, and I just don't think I'm gonna like them. Like they're just a small tag team that just is just gonna do what seems like every small athletic teams do these days. So I was kind of hoping to see Drake Maverick and Killian Dane pull it off, but we got to see MSK win.
I mean, nothing really stood out to me. I understand. I think now I wish I had the bracket in front of me, but I think you're probably gonna see MSK make it to the final.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
Um,
I'll tell you, yeah.
and I wouldn't be surprised, depending on what side of the bracket they're on, if they didn't go up against the Undisputed Era.
Dude, I'm just yeah, I got it up. We'll talk about it later, but dude, we'll just talk about it later when it comes to it. Is that fine?
That's fine.
Oh, up next we got to see the brand of Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Peter, not Peter, sorry, Oni Lorcan. I don't know why I said Peter. They came out. Oh yeah, Pete Dunne. They came out and just because they're going to be facing Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era and Finn Balor in the main event tonight. A lot of tag team matches tonight. A lot of them. Uh, then we got to see a Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez promo, hyping up their match tonight against the Robert Stone brand. Then we got to see Aaliyah and Kima. How you say it? Karma? I can't even say it. Whatever. The Robert Stone brand. Got to see. Did we see a promo of them? Fuck it. Who
I
cares?
don't remember.
Then we got to see the backstage reporter McKenzie interviewing some guy. I don't know. It was pretty lame. I think it was the guy they showed later tonight getting beat up. Um, I don't know. Kurt Stallion. And then like once I realized it was for the cruiserweight title, I didn't care. Um, then we got to see the Dakota Kai Raquel Gonzalez versus the Robert Stone brand match. Kai and Gonzalez won, which this was like one of the few matches I look forward to just because I like Dakota Kai and Gonzalez. I these are my favorites in the women's Dusty Classic. I don't know much about the other two girls. I know I've seen Aaliyah here and there, but I don't know. Don't really care. You have anything to say?
Excited that, especially with the first few women's matches or the first women's match that we saw, I'm glad that Kai and Gonzalez are moving on.
Oh,
It gives you hope that at least you're gonna see a prominent tag team win the inaugural women's Dusty Classic.
yeah. And then we got to see a Way promo. Uh, Candice LeRae and Indy Blackwell. They talk about their match coming up in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and then we got to see a Johnny Gargano and fuck, what's his name?
Austin Theory.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tyson Fury. I was like, that's not correct.
He's a
Yeah.
heavyweight champion of the world,
Um,
Kyle.
they're pretty much talking about the Gargano's curse because Kushida, they're gonna be fighting. They lost to Kushida and Leon Ruff in the Dusty Rhodes Classic, which was stupid. And then they're talking about their curse because I guess Johnny Gargano can't lose to two people twice. Um, then we got to see a Scarlett promo doing her weird stuff. Uh, we got to see a Tyler Rust squash match. The guy that got squashed by Bronson Reed last week. I didn't care about this. Did you?
Nope.
Um, then we went backstage with a McKenzie backstage promo interviewing Finn Balor, and then O'Reilly came out, and both of them asked, can you trust me? I don't know. Can I trust you?"
Oh no, can you trust me?
Then we got to see a grizzled young vets versus Ruff and Kushida. Didn't care about this match. Don't care about these guys in there. It's stupid.
Yo,
We're probably gonna see the grizzled young vets in the finals when we don't see the way in there, or we're going to see either the undisputed or Thatcher and Champa lose, and we get to see these bums. Yep, Grizzled Young Vets win. And afterwards, the way of Gargano and Tyson, they came out and
Austin.
Austin, Austin Theory.
Austin Theory.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Dude, that's NXT's breakout star of the year or future star of the year. I can't get that wrong. They came out and they beat up on Ruff and Kushida, and that's probably gonna lead up a match between Kushida and Gargano at Takeover. What was your thoughts about the
Which
match?
I know you're ecstatic
Oh
about.
yeah. Oh yeah. We got to see Dexter Loomis, attack Fury, Theory as well. Sorry. Try and get this
I
right.
mean, out of these two tag teams, I would prefer to see the Grizzled Young Vets move forward. I don't want to see them win the Dusty Classic, but I am interested to see
I
what
mean,
they'll do.
just for the point is like, I'm going like it would be cool to see Thatcher and Champa win, but I mean, it, it's probably gonna be against it's probably gonna be them versus Undisputed Era, and the only reason I would like, I mean, it's just can't from my point of view is like you like to see someone else win it. Undisputed Era has already won before, so it'd just be kind of cool to see someone else win it, but I wouldn't
I
I
understand.
wouldn't mind if Undisputed Era won it. But see that I'm in this point to where you know if I'm pretty much. I mean, I don't know. Del Phasma. I mean, if I watch more 205 Live, that group's pretty interesting, which we will talk about later on. Um, then we get to see it, find out that Kurt Stallion was jumped. William Regal is definitely knows it was. But, 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 sorry, excuse me, I was getting ready to burp. You know, I said their name right, and I can't say it again. Del Phasma.
Yeah.
Pretty much saying that William Regal knows that he knows how he did that, and you're still having your match with Kurt Stallion at some point, which is probably going to be at Takeover. Um, then we hit the ring. Tony Storm comes out. After her and Mercedes Martinez lost in the Dusty Rhodes Women's Classic, she's saying, well, she's challenging Io Shirai because Io Shirai distracted. Well, no, not distracted. She took out her tag team partner Mercedes, so she's challenging Shirai at Takeover, and then Io comes out, says, "Yeah, let's do it," and they fight. Then Mercedes Martinez comes out, they fight, and then Tony Storm somehow ends up on top holding the belt, but she's probably going to lose too, because I think Shirai's going to win it. Did you like it?
Sets up a really exciting women's match, some hard hitting stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
think.
I think it's going to be good, but just predictable. Like I don't feel like any of those two like it just see this is the time I hate around this time of the year because you're gonna have so many like people being part of stuff than not. You know, Tony's.
Sure.
I mean, I liked it how like from the start they kind of put put these seeds in place, but I'd rather see Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez in the Dusty Rhodes Classic instead of whoever they lost to.
Cat and
Yeah,
Zaro, and I think and I think you and I are probably in agreement. This is honestly we I think whoever the NXT Women's Champion is going to be, her days are only going to be numbered until Gonzalez comes for the title.
yeah,
And when Gonzalez comes for the title, she I just think that she is one of those women who can hold on to that title and have a dominant reign um as champion.
yeah. I agree, and I feel like they're gonna. That's probably gonna happen on WrestleMania weekend because because probably her and Kai is probably gonna have like some good battles, which I'm pretty sure they're gonna fight Shotzi and Ember Moon in the finals. If I would have to guess. Um, but yeah, I even though I poorly described it and quickly went through it, I mean, it did its job. It's like what Mark said. These matches are going to be good, but in my point of view, it leads to a match that's predictable, and that's what I don't like. Um, then we got to see Imperium promo. I'm not sure what that was about. I mean, they're hyping them up, so I guess that means they're probably like the full group's probably coming soon. When you say,
It'll be really interesting if we do because Walter just seems like one of those guys that will never ever ever lose in our lifetime. And so I'll be interested to see what he could do if he was over here.
yeah. Oh man, I know you're looking forward to this match. We got to see a Bronson Reed with Swerve Isaiah Scott. I know you're a big Isaiah Scott fan, but I don't mind Bronson Reed. I think he can be, something decent. Just a big guy, not like world champion or anything like that. Just something different. Um, but yeah, it was just pretty much like uh, back and forth match. Isaiah Scott almost won with a 450, but then Bronson Reed did his big boy splash to win it. I'm kind of surprised they did this match. I thought they were going to do this on the next on Takeover, but they probably wisened up and realized that no one cares about this.
I agree.
We've seen a promo with Champa and Thatcher talking about the respect the two have the mutual respect the two went through between the battles that took place over the past couple months that led them to becoming a tag team. And we got to see kind of highlights of their match on 205 Live, which I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's just timing, but I may need to watch that later on. Just for to see just to see those two tag team before they face against the Undisputed Era. But I don't know how I'm gonna fit it in with all the wrestling we have to watch.
Right.
Uh, and then the main event, we got to see Finn Balor and O'Reilly and versus Loken and Birch. Good match. Good match. Kind of happy to see they were dropping Pat McAfee's name in, during the commentary. They, kind of to me it means something that he may potentially show up at some point, because you know they're kind of his brand is fighting, still fighting the Undisputed Era, so he can just kind of come back whenever he wants to. But you never know, man. He may be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I called it if it happens. And we'll get into our Royal Rumble predictions here very very soon. But the other night at the end, it was at the end of his show. He's talking with AJ, and I don't know if you saw it, Tyler, but one of his agents called.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so one of his agents called, and Pat answered. He's like, "What the?" He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm in the middle of my freaking show." And he's like, and his agent's like, "I got something for you." He's like, "Well, you can't talk about it right now," because he was still live on YouTube. Like he had already gone off the air on a Sirius.
Mhm.
He's like, but he's still on YouTube with AJ. And this week was great because him and AJ went for like 30 minutes
Yeah.
every day. That's probably honestly my favorite part of his show. But he was like, "Oh no," he's like, "This is big." He's like, "If I take this, this is big." He's like, "But I can't say anything because then if I don't do it, everybody's gonna be mad that I don't do it." So in my head, I'm like, "Is he gonna be in the Rumble?" Like that was what I thought it would be. Now I could be completely wrong, but I think Pat could. Excuse me. Pat could be a surprise entrant in the Rumble for sure.
That's something we will talk about later. But O'Reilly made Birch tap to end the show. Um, uh, that match was one of the few highlights of NXT for me. It was just a mess show, but to me, like this, I mean, some people may like it. It's just the reason why I don't like it is just because of like the way the Dusty Rhodes Cup is going for the men's. It's just it's like what we said earlier. I only have like two teams. I mean, I don't know, like El Fantasma, if I could pronounce their name right. I mean, that could
The
be,
Goddard Del
yeah,
Fantasma.
like that. But they're face like that's gonna be interesting. But they're gonna be facing against the Lucha House Party, and you never know. Lucha House Party may be in there because they're probably gonna do it.
Lucha, 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 lucha,
Just
lucha, lucha, lucha.
yeah.
Lucha,
But like
lucha, lucha.
I'm definitely looking more forward to the women's the Stress Classic. All right, let's end this part with Smack. Let's end the results section with SmackDown. Ah, I can't believe it. SmackDown opened up with a 20-minute Daniel Bryan promo. Oh my gosh. I just hated it. Didn't you, Mark?
I could listen to Daniel Bryan promo talk for
No.
hours.
But when it's the tribal chief, you don't
I don't
want none.
want well, no,
Not every week.
it literally cannot be every single week. That's
Yeah.
my thing. Like
Uh,
open
honestly,
up. just open like pick a week and maybe be like, okay, this week we're gonna open up with a match, and do a 10-minute match, and then have that match do a 10-minute promo. I'm okay with that, but do something to where it's like, okay, we're not gonna literally come in every week for 20 minutes and promo you to death before you even see any kind of action. Like,
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Good promo by Daniel Bryan. I feel this is like one of the only good parts about this night. I feel like
cause
tonight.
he's the best in the world, baby.
I felt like SmackDown tonight was kind of like NXT. Couple good things on the show, but other than that, it was pointless. Um. Daniel Bryan came out, did a good promo. Talking about pretty much, the Royal Rumble is like, you know, his Super Bowl, or like, his Super Bowl, or like, the Daytona 500, or the Masters. He's won them all except for that one. So, I feel like, with a promo like that, he has to be one of the favorites headed in, but we'll talk more about that later. Um, then AJ Styles came out. Um, once he came out, I know this show was gonna be BS because once you see one Raw superstar, like vice versa, you're gonna see a whole bunch of them on the show. But I looked forward to it because they announced that they're gonna have a match between those two later on the night. But
Heck yeah.
don't get your hopes up. They're not gonna give that on free TV. Um,
Nor should they.
um,
That would be a match of the year candidate anywhere in the world.
yep. Then we get to see a backstage promo with Bailey and Kayla Braxton, SmackDown's backstage announcer. Just talking about her rivalry with Bianca Belair. I like that how Bailey kind of took a jab at how Belair has a chronicle, WWE Chronicle. Um, no, just
Why'd you like that?
yeah, it's just to me it's pointless because why? I'm in the. It's just like remember like how in the days like
Because she's the EST, Tyler.
no, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm not saying she's bad. I'm just saying is like I know because it's different and everything like that, like with the WWE Network and everything. But to have like some superstars that we grew up with, or sorry, I don't know why I said superstars, wrestlers. To have some wrestlers that we had grew up with, they even had like their own DVDs talking about their stories and their matches, and the fact is like people like Bianca can have theirs chronicles and everything like that. I just think it's stupid. Um, it's like I don't want to see I don't want to see the life story of uh the Milwaukee Bucks as tenth guy on the bench. Then we got to see then we got to see the match between Belair and Bailey. It's pretty decent. Um, Belair won. Uh, I was kind of surprised about that, but you never know. In my mind, that means that she's probably going to be potentially one of the SmackDown favorites in the Women's Royal Rumble. What was your thoughts on it?
Um, I mean, it's a decent match. I'm really intrigued. I don't know if Bianca's gonna be able to beat Bailey when the title's on the line. Uh, Interesting ramifications moving into the Rumble. Um, we'll see what happens.
And then after the match, Kayla came out on the ramp, asked Belair how much that win meant to her, and she said it was awesome. Then we get to see a. Did you see any promos, or did it get straight to the? Probably went to commercial. Then we seen the King Corbin, Corbin versus Dominic Mysterio match, right?
Right, because it's so nice, we gotta see it
Ah,
twice.
dude, this was bad. Uh, Only noteworthy thing was during King Corbin's entrance, Dominic attacks him from behind. Um,
What a dirty trick.
yeah, forgot to mention Ray's on. He's the guest commentator,
You don't say.
and it's pretty much nothing. King Corbin wins, and then afterwards, him and Ray get into it. Ray comes out on top. Booyaka, booyaka, 619. Hey, Rey Mysterio. Then we went backstage for a Big E and a Sonya Deville backstage promo. Sonya is, I guess, the assistant, or they don't really say, to Adam Pearce, which she says that Adam Pearce has tonight off after what happened last week, which don't make sense because he was on Raw. Um, Miz and Morrison showed up, and Big E and Miz and Morrison have a fight backstage. We got to see a lot of promos at this point. Got to see Sasha
The
Banks.
sausage. Nice. The sausage banks, baby.
It's sausage time. Got to see got to see Sasha Banks backstage. She flirted with Reginald for a little bit, but then she said, I'm gonna beat up Carmella."
That's right.
I mean, hey Mark, if you were just so moved by these promos, just let me know, because I'm because I wasn't personally moved by these, but if you were, just let me know, okay? Don't
I
because
I was not. You know that. I was really sad that this was the go home show to like really sell the
uh
pay per view, and
yeah
it was like in a lot of ways it made me feel like a dad who is teaching his 3-year-old son how to play t-ball, and I put the ball on the tee, and I put my son right up to the tee. I'm like, all you gotta do is hit the ball off the tee, and he swung, and he completely missed everything.
uh one of the good things about tonight was we got to see another backstage interview, but this time with Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura, talking about they were just talking about their history and all that stuff. I thought it was pretty good. Did its point, talking about like what's going to happen on for this Sunday.
I thought Shinsuke did have a really good promo. His like promo where he's like in the middle of the baseball field. I thought that was definitely a good highlight.
I haven't seen that yet, but I saw that on Reddit, and I was kind of hoping. I saw like around the time SmackDown was on. I was kind of hoping this was going to be the promo, but it just sucks how most of the time most of the good promos, and you can tell these guys and gals are good at what they do, are in these stupid like for the Instagram or the YouTube or like Raw SmackDown talk when it's not fucking produced by like 800 people, and it's just like just talk about these things and make people care. Seems like.
Well, imagine that.
Uh, but yeah.
Imagine that.
Then we got to see another good thing. We got to see a face-off between Roman Reigns and Kevin Steen, hyping up their match.
Who?
I'm sorry, literally I typed out Steen on my notes. Kevin Owens.
Who is Kevin Steen?
I heard
I
he's
thought Kevin.
I heard
I
he's
thought Kevin Steen was in Mexico,
yeah.
working with orphans.
Yeah, with El Generico.
With Generico.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Jeez, a whiz. They're clearly not the same person.
No, it was a good promo. It was like they're in different locations, but like the screen was on them on both of them at the same time. Uh, Hyping up their match that we know that Roman's gonna win. But see, like when I hear Owens talk about like matches, matches like these, like this, it gets me pumped because like he freaking ropes me in. I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, don't talk bad about my family and my granddad. Don't you dare do that.
That's
He,
that's because Kevin Owens is an incredible wrestler.
yeah, and I hate it how like, and I don't know why because when him and Jericho, like when he was the Universal Champion on Raw a couple years ago, like he proved that he was able to do it. But like ever since then, I don't know. I mean, like I don't even. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about it later because he beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania last week off a crazy bump. That was pretty much it. It just seems like Owens is just. He's kind of like the John. He's like the current John Moxley or like the Bray Wyatt, where they know fans care about him because A, he's really good, and B, like people care about him because he's really good and he makes you care about stuff. So they know that we can just put him out there. Like he can make any storyline decent, but he's just going to lose. But people are still going to care on the build because you know because he makes you care. But I don't know why that's not. I don't know why he's not a Universal Champion yet. But sorry for going on a rant.
Cool, bro.
uh,
Yeah.
then we get to see the AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan match. Uh, those guys doing their thing. Putting on a great show. And then Sami Zayn comes out. Oh, and then Cesaro was on. He was a guest commentator. And then during the match, Big E comes out. And then he fights with Sami and Cesaro. Bryan dove out, to take out Sami and Cesaro. Then while he went back to the ring to continue wrestling against AJ, Sami came out, you know, came in the ring and hit Daniel for the DQ finish. And then they started brawling. Then Shinsuke came out and they started brawling as well to even out the odds. And I liked it how him and Cesaro they still have that partnership, but they're kind of going their separate ways. One's kind of becoming good, one's becoming bad. But they didn't fight each other during that whole scrap. And then when we come back from commercial,
You can kind of tell, okay, all this stuff is going to be building to a point where we're just going to get this multi-man match where we just have everybody and it's going to kind of turn into like a Royal Rumble style
yeah, that's kind of like what they
thing that
do.
really like, yeah, oh, we got to sell the point that, it's an over-the-top rope adult version of the floor is lava. Like,
Yeah,
so, um, it it sucks. It sucks in a sense that it's like, here you have two of the best wrestlers on your roster, and you don't get to see like a true finish to their match. But we're gonna add even more of the best wrestlers that we have on the roster and make it a multi-man match, and it just didn't. For it fulfilled the purpose of what it was supposed to. But when you see all these guys together in a match like that, you think like, let these guys have like 40 minutes and let them go. But you also don't want to see them just all thrown together the way that they were. But for the sake of being 2 days out from the Rumble, everything's coming to that head. That was the nature of the beast.
yep. All right, and during that 6-man tag team match, Miz and Morrison came out, and then Otis came out, and then it became a 4-on-5 handicap match. And this is when I just laughed. Sheamus comes out, does his stuff, bro kicks somebody, pins, wins. And then I like this part. And then Braun Strowman came out. He's back, entering the Royal Rumble, giving people hands, and we end SmackDown. Pretty lackluster show.
But that brings us to the piece de resistance. which is this Sunday, today, the Royal Rumble. And we actually got some breaking news tonight concerning the Royal Rumble on WWE Backstage on Fox,
That's back.
where we where we found out, is it like permanently back, or
I
where they just did
guess. I
a
don't know.
special edition for the Rumble?
Who knows? Everything's so confusing with that because it's a WWE thing, but also a Fox thing. So,
Right. So we've got
you just want to
from
get into. Sorry, you just want to go straight into the Rumble, then we can talk about that or predictions or.
yeah, that's fine.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say we found out from backstage tonight that Natalia defeated Tamina Snuka in a match, and Natalia will be the number 30 entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble. And we found out that the number 1 and 2 entrants into the Men's Royal Rumble are Edge and Randy Orton.
Yep. It's gonna be interesting to see. Those two. I know it's gonna be hard to live up to the greatest wrestling match of all time, but in a Royal Rumble. But I have a feeling we're probably gonna see those two guys for a long, long time. Um. All right, so these are the only confirmed matches for the Royal Rumble. Uh, but just gonna start. There's not in no order. Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Mark, who do you got on this one?
I've clearly got the champ. I've got Sasha Banks. She's gonna win, um, and she's gonna continue her reign as SmackDown Women's Champion.
Agreed. I mean, they're kind of making Carmella a threat. You know, ever since she came back a couple months or so ago. But I mean, it could happen. But I feel it's like gonna be a BS way if that happens. Reginald's probably gonna get involved or something like that. But I can't see Sasha losing right now. Uh, then we for the women's tag team championship, Asuka, Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler. Um, I'm probably going to go for the upset because I think they just want to get rid of this tag team, but you never know. I'm going with Nia Jax and Shayna. I just feel like they're with what they're doing right now with Flair and Asuka, like they're doing two separate things. Um, but I don't know. So it wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if Flair and Asuka wins, but I kind of think like this is their way to get the tag team championship off of them because I'll explain later on.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Um, I see your logic and it makes complete sense. Honestly, your logic is the right logic, which is exactly why we're going to see Charlotte and Asuka retain the tag team championships.
Okay. For the
Because,
W
like you said, WWE never does anything logical.
no. For the WWE Championship, it's gonna be Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. See, like I don't, yeah, I don't know. I'm, I want Drew to win. I think Goldberg's gonna win.
There's only one way that this match is gonna go, And it doesn't pain me to say it. I think, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that the winner of this match will be Goldberg.
Yeah. I just I don't know what they're doing. Just I don't believe that BS of them trying to unify the championship, because isn't that one of, like, Fox wants their own rosters and stuff like that.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I
Anyways,
haven't even looked into anything like that. I probably should,
I
but
I I don't know if that's a reason or not. I'm just saying that's what I've a BS reasoning. Like, all I see it on Twitter or Reddit. That's all. I only know that's legit. That's but just it's a likelihood.
right.
Then we're going to see a last man standing match for the WWE Universal Championship. The Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman versus Kevin Owens. Going to be a good match. Kevin Owens is probably going to look good in it, but something screwy is going to happen, or Reigns is just going to straight out dominate Owens. I'm going with Reigns. Either Owens is going to look really good in the match, or he's just going to look like a stooge.
Yeah, I really. Hmm. Do I predict with my heart, or do I predict with my brain so that I can beat you in predictions? um, I'm choosing Roman to win, but I don't want that to be the result of the match. I want Kevin to win, but I'm picking Roman to win the last man standing match because at the end of the day, I think Kevin's gonna look great, and I think Kevin's gonna get screwed with brother Uso coming out, and unfortunately, there's nobody in Kevin's corner because his best friend has his own inner circle to deal with, and Sami Zayn's worrying about conspiracy theories. So I think that's ultimately going to cost Kevin at the end of the day.
He wasn't on this week's SmackDown, but if something happens, I feel like along with Jay, Apollo Crews will probably do something.
Essentially,
And then the women's Royal Rumble match. I'll give you the list of names that have so far confirmed. As Mark said earlier, Natalia defeated Tamina, WWE Superstars, to earn the last spot in the Rumble, which is not going to mean anything. So those two are in the Rumble. But right now, the confirmed wrestlers are Nia Jax, Charlotte, Bianca Belair, Bayley, Andy Rose, Dana Brooke, Peyton Royce, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Tamina and Natalia. Um, Obviously that's only 13, so there's gonna be way more. They're gonna need way more female wrestlers to fill that out. But
I think one from each brand and pick a surprise entrant.
okay, okay, all right. I'm gonna pick. I'll start. I think Charlotte's gonna win it, man. And I like what I said. I think she's gonna win it. She's gonna, lose the women's tag team championship because they're gonna give her something else to do. I know she won it last year, but I just feel like maybe other than like a less, I don't know. I think SmackDown, like, SmackDown's kind of weak compared to Raw. I think Raw is gonna be like Flair or Bliss. but on SmackDown, I'm gonna say Bianca, but like Bailey will probably have a better chance than her. And one surprise entrance. Okay. Um, I'm going. Is her name? Is how you pronounce it? Is it Kari Sane or Carrie? How you say it?
Carrie.
Carrie Sane. Yeah. I feel like she's probably gonna show up for one off Royal Rumble because it kind of in the way she deserved it. Kind of getting abused by Nia Jax. So kind of like this would probably be a good way to end on a better note. But I don't know, man. But what are yours?
So I think that Alexa Bliss is going to win the Rumble, and that Alexa Bliss will win the Rumble under the mystique of the Fiend, in the all black version of who she is. Um, from SmackDown, Bianca's probably a really good choice. Um, just to switch it up and go with something different from SmackDown, I am going to say Carmella. But again, I think that Alexa will probably be the one to win. And as far as a surprise entrant in the women's Royal Rumble, um, part of me wants to say Santina Morella. Um, they've got a lot of spots to fill. I don't know if this would necessarily be a surprise, but this is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Raquel Gonzalez.
Okay.
Where she gets that little light coming into the Rumble, has a really strong outing, doesn't win it, but that give her motivation to go down to NXT and just dominate in the NXT Women's Division for the next year.
Okay. That's when you said surprise. I kind of thought I went more of a Legends approach, but yeah.
Well, that's fair, but I was just trying to think of what legends they would try to bring in the midst of the
But
COVID timing and all that stuff. And not that they couldn't bring the legends in, because you easily could, or you could bring in new wrestlers. I mean, I guess you could even say that there's potential for there's like the Japanese women's wrestler that WWE has signed, but apparently she's been overseas for a while. This could be a good opportunity where maybe like the reports have just been saying that she's overseas, but really she is here in America and she's going to debut in the Rumble. Um, I want to pick her in the off chance that she is really still stuck overseas. So I'm gonna go with a NXT surprise entrant because I think I mean there's still gonna be plenty of legends that come in, I'm sure, but I think it would also be a little easier for WWE instead of trying to reach out to legends, have them come in under the COVID protocol and all that stuff. Let's use some NXT women because they're already doing all the stuff we need them to do, following COVID-19 protocols and safety things, and it'd probably make life a lot easier that way for them for the Rumble.
probably a 1% chance, but it'd be cool to see a totally understandable Becky Lynch come back just for this one night.
That would be cool, especially because she's already, I mean, she's had her child. I don't know. what kind of ring shape she would be in. But that would be a pretty neat little return.
But shoot, you never know. They could do one of those taped ones, or like that movie style. Kind of what they did for Money in the Bank, this Rumble. You never know.
That's true. I don't know if they would do that for this Rumble, but hey, anything's possible.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to the men's, and there's only 9 open spots. Uh, Daniel Bryan, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Otis, The Miz, Jay Uso, which for some reason it corrected to Jet Uso, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big E, John Morrison, Sheamus, Mufasta Ali,
Mustafa.
Mustafa, I'm sorry, Mustafa Ali, Edge, King Corbin, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and Braun Strowman.
Are you freaking serious? We're giving a spot to Dominic Mysterio because he earned it, because he called himself. Oh my
Dude,
gosh,
he's going after
what a
King Corbin.
what a freaking joke.
All right,
I hope
since I
he's
went,
I hope he's getting the fastest elimination in the history of the Rumble.
all right, since I went first for the women's, you go first.
I'll go first for the men. Yeah, so I'll go ahead. This is my pipe dream. This is not a prediction, but this is the pipe dream. I told you yesterday, so I want to also share it for the listeners because I think this would be really cool. I don't think this will happen, but this is what I would like to see happen. I would like to see ultimately, and I maybe even should have made it a prediction. Um, in the midst of the Goldberg Drew McIntyre WWE Championship match. Miz comes down, cashes in his money in the bank, wins the WWE Championship. And then the Miz comes into the Rumble as the WWE Champion, wins the Rumble, and goes on to WrestleMania to wrestle for the Universal Championship, where the Miz would ultimately win and unify the heavyweight championships at WrestleMania. That's a super pipe dream. I just think that would be really cool. That's not my prediction. For the sake of Raw, I think that see, I don't think anybody from Raw is going to win, but I think if there was my prediction, I'm going to say Edge from Raw, and then honestly, I think well, I guess technically AJ Styles is on Raw, right? Yeah, because he's on Raw. AJ would probably.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna go with Edge. I'm gonna go with Edge. Oh, I think AJ could win it. I'm gonna go with Edge from Raw, and then I truly believe that a SmackDown superstar is gonna win the Rumble. My heart says Daniel Bryan. Like you said, with his promo, that's the only thing that he's missing as far as like major career moment in WWE and in wrestling as a whole. I mean, my gosh, that man's done basically everything and anything that you would want to do. I think that Daniel deserves a Rumble victory, especially after that mid 2000 run where he was the hottest name in professional wrestling. And it just seemed like, my gosh, okay, we're going to get to the Rumble and we're going to screw him and we're going to stick it to our fans. Um, 2014, 2015, even 2016 Rumbles were pretty rough for me personally because of that. Um, my heart says Brian, but my heart also says, and I think my mind agrees. And so my pick to win the Royal Rumble representing SmackDown is Cesaro. Put a rocket on him, and just like Dogecoin, send him to the moon. Cesaro's going to win the Rumble. And my surprise entrant, because I really want to see it happen, is Pat McAfee in the Rumble for the brand.
Mark, I think Bryan's is more realistic than Cesaro. I'm. Well, see, this is what sucks on Raw. Well, I guess like according to Wikipedia, Edge is just a Hall of Famer. He's not part of Raw. So so but no, I mean like on Raw. I mean yeah, I mean Raw like only person I could see is like AJ Styles or Randy Orton. I'm going with Randy Orton. I just I don't know. It's just
How can Orton win the how is he gonna win the Rumble from one when his face is so burnt? How is it even possible?
because you want to hang out with Matt Riddle, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Before the match to stop hearing those voices, bro. Um, I don't know, cause like as soon as I said Orton, and then when you were saying the burn, like dude, Bray Wyatt's probably gonna interfere. Um,
That would be nice.
but like maybe like only I can only see those two winning on Raw. I mean, it would be cool to see Bobby Lashley win, but you know he's got to take out Bro first. But then other than that, Raw's pretty much nobody. Um, I mean, I can see Sheamus, but I can't. I mean, they're building them up, but I just can't see him winning it. Um, but SmackDown has so many guys who will be like, yeah, that will make sense. Like you got Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Shinsuke. Shoot, you can kind of say Sami Zayn as well. You know, I mean, his run has been like his role has been kind of goofy, but not like not goofy, but like he's still on TV and he's still like involved with in intercontinental stuff and the main event scene as well. So
Right,
I mean,
that's true.
like to me, like Sammy's kind of like a dark horse, and that'll be. But it just because that this thing that sucks is like I kind of pick to see like who would like fight Roman Reigns, and dude, it seems like it's gonna be Daniel Bryan, and dude, and I think it's gonna hate it because I think Daniel Bryan's gonna win, and he's probably gonna get destroyed by Roman at WrestleMania.
Or are we gonna see Daniel Bryan take out Goldberg?
Nah, D-Bry is a SmackDown guy. Um, but I'm going with Daniel Bryan. Just like SmackDown has too many guys, and to me, like not like SmackDown has too like I could see like like I said earlier those guys winning it, but like Bryan from the SmackDown from I mean he led off SmackDown with with that promo, and I'm going with him. Uh, a surprise guy. I'm probably gonna go with Bray Wyatt or I'm gonna go with the Big Show. No, no, scratch that. I'm gonna go with Almas. That's one gonna be my surprise entrance. Almas.
Interesting.
Yep. Um, do you want to end it with a little bit of news that's already old, or you just want to end it?
Well, I think it's worth mentioning that in New Japan we've got some
Oh
big
yeah.
things popping. Um, within the last few days, we've had John Moxley has re-arrived as Moxley showed up at New Japan Strong, and he laid waste to Kenta and someone. I can't tell who this is in the picture. Somebody from the Bullet Club, I think. Maybe not. Don't murder me, internet. But we are going to see. We are finally going to see Kenta versus John Moxley for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. And this match is happening at New Japan, New Beginning USA. So, this match will take place at the end of February, February 26th. And this is going to be a 2 night card for New Japan. Um, so Moxley gonna be back on some New Japan television. Finally, going to defend his championship against Kenta. Pretty interesting that these New Japan, or at least a handful of New Japan guys, are gonna be coming over to the states to be able to make this happen. Um, what do you think about that, Tyler? Are you excited to finally see this match happen?
Oh yeah, nice to see Kenta. You know, he's been kind of been searching for that belt for almost a year. You know, not Moxley's fault. You know, it just seemed like this match could should have happened like over last summer if everything was normal. But you know, just I mean, I feel like something like that's probably helped this build. You know, you want to see these guys wrestle. You know, it's going. You know, just keeps on building and building, and you know, then just boom explodes. And yeah, Moxley's pretty much what Moxley's doing is awesome. You know, in the states and also in overseas. You know, facing off against two great wrestlers. You think
For
he's going?
sure.
Do you think he's going to win, or you think Kenta's?
I think he's going to lose the title. I think it's going to be a really strong match. I think that Bullet Club's going to probably pull their antics, and they'll do something to where they can like write Moxley off of TV for New Japan. I mean, he's been off New Japan TV for so long anyway, but with his wife preparing to give birth to their first child, um, and COVID still running wild, brother. I think it just makes sense to let Kenta finally win the championship. He doesn't have to keep defending the briefcase, which is a really weird thing anyway. You know, it would be different if it was like a title shot for like the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, but it's just for the IWGP the US Heavyweight Championship. So I think it makes sense for New Japan to let the match go, you know, back and forth, hard hitting match. Bullet Club comes down, screws Moxley out of the title, into wins. Bullet Club, injures Moxley, writes him off of New Japan television, and then Moxley can focus on, still probably doing some AEW stuff. And then that really gives him a place to come back into when things get better and he can go back to New Japan in the right way, that both he and New Japan deserve. And he's already got a story to jump right back into.
Um, you want to close it out there, or
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have anything else to mention, so I don't know if you've got anything, but the Royal Rumble is going to be pretty exciting to see what happens, and yeah, from here we're going to be on the road to WrestleMania. So buckle in; it's going to be a fun ride.
yes, sir? We looking forward to it. This is kind of like this is like when everything starts ramping up WWE wise, to where hopefully they can good road to WrestleMania, but I just can't see it. But hopefully this past week will they'll put hopefully they'll put this past week behind them, and you know it will be the start of the new best wrestling era ever. That'll do it for us. Thank you for listening. Mark, you have anything else to add?
I mean, no, that's it. I mean, next time you hear from us, we'll cover. Probably what we'll do is we'll be able to cover the Rumble, and then we'll cover Impact and AEW, and then that will set us up to be in a really good position to where we can do one AEW show with Impact Wrestling and other wrestling news a week, and then one WWE show. And then obviously we'll cover the pay-per-views with our first show of the week. But hey, we're excited. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. Um, and hopefully you'll be hearing the next time you hear from us, you'll be hearing from me, your MTPW champion.
But thank you for listening. Check back this Tuesday for our review.